Hi everyone. Today I want to talk about how attitude and persuasion plays a major role in marketing, specifically how companies can, influence the way we think, feel, and act towards, different products and services. We'll explore persuasive strategies and their ethical boundaries and what makes them effective across different audiences. Uh, First, we're going to talk about the power of persuasion. Power of persuasion is, crucial as far as running a company and having customers. And, at heart of marketing is persuasion. Persuasion isn't just about, convincing someone to buy something. It's about shaping attitudes, according to Isaac, the dude, I read the article on, attitudes is made up of three components: what we believe, how we feel, and how likely we are to act. When marketers understand this, they can design messages that, actually shift consumer behavior. Like for example, think about a brand that makes you feel something, maybe pride, safety, or nostalgia. That's not by accident. That was persuasion, a persuasion message, and that was crafted to hit your emotion or your logic, and trigger some behavior all at once. So persuasion is, I think, persuasion is very crucial. And it's an important part uh, for companies to get their point across. Some effective strategies is, I'm finna basically persuasive messages. Research, shows that credibility of the source and the content of the message and how it's delivered. All that ties into it. All that matters. Tone, behavior, etc. One popular theory in the elaboration and likelihood model, which says we process messages in two ways, centrally and paraphernally. Sorry. Uh, if we care, if we care a lot about the product, like a new car, we'll pay attention to details such as price, safety, features, that central processing. But it's something simple like gum or soda, we're more likely to be influenced by visuals, humor, and celebrity endorsements. Marketers need to know their audience because what works for one group may not completely work for another group. We all think different, have our different preferences, have we think different, taste buds differently. It depends on what's the company, what they aiming for as far as what their customer or what they want out of their customers. Um, you know, emotional. They talk about a little bit about emotional appeals and ethics. Uh, Emotional tactics like fear appeals, like these can be a powerful. These can be real powerful, especially in like public health marketing. For example, anti-smoking campaigns that show the health risk make people stop and think. But there's a fine line using a fear or manipulation without offering a solution, you know, that can backfire on you. Ethical persuasion means balancing emotional impact with honesty and helpful action. You know, uh, example, think about the Got Milk campaign. It used humor, celebrity power, and cultural relevance to boost milk sales. It was simple but effective. On the flip side, Pepsi Live for Now, ad with Kendall Jenner completely missed the mark. It tried to use social justice themes for product promotion and ended up offering people instead. These examples, show that persuasion must also be culturally aware and authentic. I should say people can, tell when something doesn't really feel genuine or just or detailed or put much thought into. Um, demographics, trust, and culture. Different demographics respond differently to persuasion. For example, in individual. listed cultures, people prefer messages about self-achievement, and collectivist cultures, they're drawn to messages about family or community, age, income, education, and values of, they all play a role too. Above all this, trust is key. Brands build trust through, transparency, consistency, and by standing for something that's real. Things like, honest reviews, social proof, and good customer services go a long way in in persuasion and making persuasion stick to the consumer. Um, but I'm gonna wrap this thing up, so to wrap it up, persuasive marketing is about more than just, selling. It's about understanding how people think, feel, and act. Don't ever forget this. When done responsibly and ethically, it not only drives business success but also builds real lasting relationships with consumers. Uh, Thanks for watching. Feel free to drop your thoughts and any questions that you have about attitude and persuasion in marketing below on my YouTube video. Once again, my name is Travion Miles Jones, and I thank you for watching.